This XYZ monster is probably one of the most powerful monsters in the game right now, and it isn't the one that you expect it to be. What is up, guys? This is Tcg Sam here, and in today's video I'm coming at you guys with another card discussion on one of the best XYZs I think in the game right now, not being Zeus, surprisingly, because obviously that card is very good, but I think this card has a lot of potential in many decks. So if you like this type of content, be sure to let me know by leaving a like, commenting, subscribing, because it really helps keep me motivated to keep posting more videos like this, and it really helps the channel out. But with that being said, it's time to reveal the card. It is Beatrice, LAKEY the Eternal. So for those of you who don't know what Beatrice does, it is a rank 6 that requires 2 level 6 monsters. It also has the fact that you can XYZ summon this card by sending one Burning Abyss monster from your hand to the graveyard, then using one Dante monster you control as material. If summoned this way, the following effect cannot be activated this turn. Once per turn, as a quick effect, you can attach one material from this card, send one card from the deck to the graveyard. If this card in your possession is destroyed by opponent's card and sent to your graveyard, you can special summon one Burning Abyss monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. So, even though as a wall of text, the only effect I'm going to be talking about here is the very simple line of once per turn, as a quick effect, you can attach one material from this card and send any card from your deck to the graveyard. So why do I think this card is one of the best XYZs in the game? Well, obviously, their cards like Foolish Burial are limited for a reason. Like, there's so many good monsters that can be sent to the graveyard. So many cards that have effects in the graveyard nowadays, which just essentially makes Beatrice a way to quote-unquote search any like card with the graveyard effect. It's just absolutely insane. So let's just say on your turn, you're playing Virtual Worlds. Well, on your turn, you can use Beatrice to send a combo card like a King Lung or an extender like Sean Wu. You can send it to the graveyard and set up more of your plays from there. You can set up like a Nian Nian or something. Or you can, with the pairing with a card like Dragonlark Perrin, it allows you to essentially send any Floodgate monster and then revive it, combo with Perrin to revive it during the standby phase, which makes it really powerful. So Beatrice, not essentially, like I said, it makes it so you don't have to like hard draw some of your pieces, and you can just quote unquote search them very easily by just making a rank 6, which is also important to note, because a card like the Volvo Chain is banned. Like the card that sends any card from the, I believe any monster or any card from the deck to the graveyard, that card is banned. And yes, I know it's a rank 4 is more accessible, but even though this is a rank 6, it essentially gives you 2 uses of it, one during your turn and one during your opponent's turn. So even though it has a lot of good applications on your turn, you can set up like your combos, like I said. You can, like in a deck like Drytron, they use it to send Eva or another Drytron name that's really powerful. But on your opponent's turn, this is where the card gets really nasty. So essentially, there's so many monster spells and traps of all kinds that have so many disruption effects from the graveyard. Take Token Collector, for example. Token Collector pretty much allows you to, it's like one of the hand traps that can activate from the graveyard. So essentially, Beatrice can quote-unquote search this hand trap, which is extremely powerful against a deck like Sword Soul or the Xiangjian archetype that should be coming out into the TCG soon. This card will be huge in that matchup, and Beatrice essentially just lets you search it. Like, if you don't hard draw it, Beatrice can send it to the graveyard, and essentially your opponent just finds it very difficult to play from there. But in addition to monsters, you can also send a spell. So a card like Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, which allows you to search a Kaiju during the next turn. You could send this on your opponent's turn, and then you have a Kaiju to out whatever monster they set up on their turn. Or if you even want, you can set up a trap. So a card like Mission for the Gnomes, which essentially allows you to banish it from the graveyard to reduce the levels of all monsters in each player's hand on field by 1 until the end of the turn. So in a very XYZ heavy or a Synchro heavy format, you can completely mess up the levels of your opponent. And like I said, the best part about this is you don't even have to hard draw these cards. Just by making a generic rank 6, you essentially get to search every single like card in the game that has a graveyard effect, which is absolutely insane. And not to mention, in addition to just these kind of very matchup specific ones, even more generic disruptions you can send on your opponent's turn. Farfa, Malabranch of the Burning Abyss to banish a monster until the end phase. Alec, Malabranch of the Burning Abyss to negate a face-up monster's effects. Or you could also play the Shadal monsters in here. Shadal Ariel to have a very powerful triple DD Crow effect on your opponent's turn. Not many graveyard decks can play through that. Or even something as simple as Shadal Dragon, which allows you to destroy one spell or trap on the field. Beatrice just becomes a huge, very powerful utility kind of toolboxes card. So on your turn, you get to send your combo pieces. You can send whatever monsters or spells or traps you want to set up your combo. And then on your opponent's turn, you can pair it with like a huge disruption, which is pretty much something only like Beatrice can do. The fact that it essentially helps you, it becomes an extender on your turn, but it also becomes an interruption at the same time. It's just actually kind of crazy to me that a single XYZ can fulfill both of those roles, because most of the times cards are just either or. For example, you can, if you just think of a card like most of the time you think of a card like Dugares. Dugares is an extender on your turn, but it doesn't actually disrupt your opponent. Same thing with like Castel, Silent Honor Arc. It's a way to remove a monster, but it doesn't disrupt your opponent. Well, Beatrice, on the other hand, it just plays every single role super well. The fact that there's no restriction when you summon it the proper way, and the fact you get full value out of it most of the time, once on your turn and once during your opponent's standby phase or whatever, it makes it so that this card is a huge threat, because your opponent also doesn't know what you have access to in your deck. So you can have access to any one of these cards that I mentioned, and then your opponent could get really screwed over, which means that this card can also bait out interruptions like Droplets or Forbidden Chalice, just because your opponent's afraid of what you could send. So like, even though you may not be playing all of these cards, because of course, like, I understand some of these are bricks if they're not played in their respective decks, the fact that your opponent just doesn't know what you have access to, which can just make it so this card baits out everything. And one final thing before I close off, this also makes siding very, very interesting for you. It allows you to side a greater variety of cards. So for example, if I'm playing in like a full XYZ format, let's say Burning Abyss format when this first came out, I could just side like 1 or 2 copies of Gnomes, because I don't have to draw it. I can make Beatrice and then send it on my opponent's turn, and then it'll be essentially be a searchable disruption that way. It allows me to play a more flexible cards, a more wide variety of cards in my side deck. So that's also important to remember. But let me know what you guys think of Beatrice in the description below. Obviously it's a very powerful card, but I think the more, like, if your deck's able to play this, you definitely should consider playing this. It's a super powerful card, very budget friendly. Not to mention, it's also very easy to make Zeus, because it's not only is it 25, it's respectable stat line. You can also put Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Church, on top of it, and then put a Zeus on top of it. So even after you expended all the materials, you get a 2 material Zeus on top of that, which is just absolutely insane. Because like some like, for example, I think one of the biggest quote-unquote weaknesses of rank 4s is if you burn both the materials on the card, you can't make a Zeus with the Send afterwards. So whereas Beatrice kind of nullifies that problem if you play Gaia Dragon as well. So that's just a super another powerful card that you can play with this. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I definitely think that this card could one day get banned if there are more like if there's like more like generic rank 6 access. I understand this is not as accessible as like something like Evolvable Chain was, but it's definitely something to consider if your deck can summon it. But with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And one more thing before we close off, if you guys haven't already checked out your playmat, then you can do so using my link in the description for 10% off your next order. Your playmat allows you to create your own fully customized card sleeves, playmats, tabletop mats, or even mouse pads with shipping worldwide. In addition, you can further enhance the designs of your sleeves or playmats with their premium editing services, or customize the border of your sleeves, making it all the more special. But if you can't come up with your own design, there are a myriad of professionally made sleeve and playmat designs for you to choose from. If all this sounds like something you'd be interested in, be sure to use my affiliate link in the description below, or use code SAM10YP, that's SAM10YP, at checkout for 10% your entire order while helping to support my channel. But anyways, back to the video now. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for me today. I just want to thank you guys so much for watching, and with that, I will see you guys soon. Take care.